Hello, hello. Welcome to the Collective Weekly Reading. So, the channeled message for this week is to remember that you are an ecosystem. Oftentimes, people are trying to categorize themselves like, oh, like I'm an air element, I'm fire, I'm earth, whatever. You, like everything on this planet, are made up of many different elements. You might be fire dominant or air dominant or whatever, but you are a full ass ecosystem. So, mind, body, heart, and soul. Everybody needs to be in on the decisions that you make. Now, you can certainly you can twist your own arm. You can twist your own mind. You can twist your own heart or soul and force it to go places. And you can make that happen, and people do it every day. But better for you to be in the position of the character on the chariot card, where everything is working together, where your parts are working in tandem, where you recognize that, like, hey, if my heart is not in this, even if my mind is like, no, but this is a great idea and this is going to work, but my heart's not in it, the ecosystem is not going to be in balance. And at some point, there is a price to pay. So, again, you can drag yourself over broken glass. I wouldn't recommend it. So that's what Spirit is bringing forward. You could imagine, if you have like a decision to make, or you are looking at several different options, and which one do I go for? Think about sitting at, the kitchen table, or the board of directors room, or the artist retreat sitting on circles on cushions, whatever your version of like, let us sit and have a conversation. Maybe it's around a fire pit. Here's my mind, my heart, my body, my soul. They all have things to share with me, right? This is like parts work, internal family systems, etc. Hey, I'm really excited about this project. How do you feel about that? Body might be like, I am so tired. What do you mean we're going to do another thing? Wait, wait, wait. You need to take that into account. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. You are a whole person. You are multidimensional. You contain multitudes. This just like, whoo, flicked out of the deck. Multidimensional motherfucker. Many, many parts to you. Yin yang. It all creates a whole. So we have to honor the whole thing. Temperance, right? Moderation, not going to extremes, not pulling our body over broken glass because our mind has a great idea or whatever. I keep saying the mind. That's only because, we are socialized to believe that our mind knows what to do and that everything else needs to follow. And that, I would say, is a root cause of a lot of the problems that we can see around us. Is like, yeah, great idea in theory. And in practice, where the human beings are actually involved, you know what I mean? Capitalism, maybe not the best system. Okay, let's get into the day-by-day forecast. Starting with today, Spirit. Wow, yikes. Okay, those two just leapt right out. Okay, we'll keep going. One sec. All right, Spirit. I hear you. You're excited about this one. Okay, what about Monday? Monday. What's the forecast, Spirit? What elements do you want to share with us for each day this week in order to help us navigate the best? Whatever we need to know, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, Spirit, we want to know what the energetic weather is so that we can be prepared and navigate it to the best of our ability. Wednesday. And Thursday. Friday. And finally, Saturday. Put this right here. Okay. That's very interesting. So, the cards that, I wonder if you could see them, when they leapt out of the deck. The Empress and the World. So, we just talked about your full-ass ecosystem. Water, fire, earth, and I was going to say, and the mind, and the sword, right? So, you have to take all of you into account, and when you do that, you have the highest, most holistic perspective. You see the globe in their hand. I understand it all. You see the union of the opposites, the red and white, right? Whew, really cool moment of. I'm hearing a couple different things. For some of you, I'm hearing achievement. For some of you, I'm hearing understanding, which is an achievement. To like graduate from a way of thinking or a way of seeing yourself or perceiving the world, and to graduate like, oh, I see this differently now. I can see more of the picture now, is really what I'm hearing. And then we have the Empress right next to it. Gorgeous card for creativity, for magnetizing good things into our life. This is also a card that says, remember to sit back and to receive. And, you know, moments like the world, we can be so wrapped up in the thought or the achievement or the moment itself that we forget to like sit back and really take it in. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've ever done a big performance or a big presentation at work or something like that, even if it goes really well, it's kind of like almost like an out of body experience. Like I went on stage and I blacked out, and then I was walking off stage and people were clapping. Woo, I'm glad it went well. You really want to be present and you want to integrate it. That brings more of it into your life, is something else that I'm hearing. So make time also to enjoy the simple things today. You know, it is a Sunday. It is the right time to kick back, to reflect, and to plan from where you are, which is what Spirit is saying. So plan how you can have the best week possible from this new perspective and understanding that you have, this new grip that you might have. And even for some of you, that grip could be on the fact that, like, hey, you know what, that weird lady on the internet did mention that, like, I am an ecosystem, and it's true that, like, you know, my soul is in this, and my mind, even and my heart are in it, but my body is tired or whatever. And if I keep leaving that voice out of the conversation, ultimately there it leads to a breakdown. It's just something that I'm hearing of one way or another, whether it's like a physical, you know, like my body got too tired and I couldn't do it, or like pushing a car to a point of breakdown because you're not giving it the maintenance that it needs, right? So take time, take care, taking really not just basic but soft, gentle, loving Empress kind of care of yourself and your creations, really like creating and caring for the containers that bring things into being that you really want. um, I feel like there's a great opportunity or achievement today, and I also feel like they said, let's go ahead and from today set up the rest of our week according to this new principle that we've understood or achieved today. Okay. So, Monday, as often happens, we have a card of like, the sigh of like, here I am again. Perhaps some of us are feeling that way about our 9 to 5. The Four of Cups is always a card for hidden blessings, but today I'm feeling it extra because it's like, hey, the hidden blessing in something not going the way we want to, or something being ultimately disappointing, or like Spirit is saying, like, it didn't fill me. Maybe you did something or you tried something and it didn't fill you, or work is just again boring and disappointing. The hidden blessing that is being poured for you that you don't even see yet is you are being further encouraged to get outside of your comfort zone. The Four of Cups can be like sitting and waiting for things to happen. The Two of Wands is like, hey, there might be something out there for me. I'm really thinking about it. I have something already really well established, this job or this relationship or this lifestyle that I've been living, but I'm craving something different. And I'm hearing something interesting, which is like for some of you, it's like I'm craving a different kind of relationship life. You know, maybe you've been monogamous your whole life, and it's like I'm craving something different, something more exotic. That's just one of the ways I'm hearing it. That is definitely not for everybody, but hey, whatever Spirit says, I'm a relay. And so they're relaying it so that you know that that's not weird and that's not bad. It's like if that's true for you, then that's going to be true for you in perpetuity, right? So like you can go ahead and begin to even consider exploring, because to be frank, the Two of Wands is just considering, right? It's not the Three of Wands where you're already on the path. It's I'm standing and looking. I'm being presented with a crossroads. And there is an opportunity there. There could be something much more, Spirit is being punny, fulfilling over in that direction. So if you are feeling bored, dissatisfied, stagnant, take that as the signal that it is. It's not, oh, this is just how it is, or this is just the truth. That's a signal from you, like from life to you, from your body to your mind. I hate this, or I'm bored, or I crave, or whatever. Use that. Put it to the use that it is, okay? Okay. Tuesday, I think that some of you might. Spirit is highlighting something. We need friction to create traction. Most human beings, if they were perfectly comfortable, they wouldn't do much, right? Which is fine. Like, Lord, let us all be a little more comfortable and not have to do as much. But you see my point, is like if there's no discomfort, if there's no boredom, if there's no chafing, then most of us wouldn't shed as many skins. Most of us wouldn't evolve as much, right? So the discomfort or disappointment of a Four of Cups can push us to go for what we want, to grab the wand and say, fuck it, I think I can break through this. I think the Hermit, I'm following my own lantern, I have my own vision, I believe that I can do it, and Spirit is really highlighting that you can. The Seven of Wands always features a person who's got their one wand and they're going up against six, but they have the higher ground. They have the passion. They have the stick-to-itiveness, the staying power. If this is within your vision, then you can make it happen. Then you can break down whatever wall. You can have more of a breakthrough than a breakdown. This is a very, this is an evolutionary week. And for some people, it's easier to evolve than others. That's just true. You know what I mean? Like you could look at the mutable signs, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces. These signs, generally speaking, are better prepared to shift. That's why they're mutable means changeable, right? Adaptable. And, Scorpios, as another example, even though they're a fixed sign, they are the sign of transformation. So, Scorpios very often can be presented with something difficult or a new piece of data and go ahead and integrate that as uncomfortable as it may be, right? Some of us have a harder time, right? Taking in new information or being forced to shift our approach. I would encourage all of us this week to be as open to what the data is showing us as possible. To have our lantern on and to stay curious, like, oh, what is this showing me? What does that mean? Like, how with this new input, whether it's opposition, whether it's support, what can I do with it to increase my vision, my understanding, and even like my passion, right? Again, we need friction to create traction. So any opposition that gets in my way, let it only sharpen my vision and understanding. So if somebody opposes what I'm saying or doing, let me use that opposition spirit of showing me like people fencing, right? People sword fighting. It's like, oh, well, like then let me use this to sharpen my own skill and my own idea. Instead of thinking of it as like, that's bad that somebody has something that's in competition with me or something that goes against what I'm saying. Let me take that as an opportunity to become even smarter, wiser, have more vision, have more power. That's what I'm hearing, okay? So if somebody comes up against you, take it as an opportunity to sharpen your skills, to find out what you're made of. That's what I hear. And stay rooted in who you are, okay? Okay. Wednesday. Man, I have to censor her lovely form. My apologies to the Six of Cups. You can use your imagination. So, Wednesday, midweek, really lovely, refreshing energy. We have the Six of Cups and the Fool. What do these cards have in common? They're both, don't worry, be happy, is kind of one of the vibes that both of these cards share. The Fool is a fresh start. The Fool is breaking free. Something interesting is that the day before we had the Hermit and they're wandering around, under the dark and the gray and the clouds. And here we have the Fool emerging from a dark, gray, cloudy, a tunnel perhaps, a cave. The Hermit does, the Hermit loves a cave. I got to go into my cave of wisdom and learn stuff. I got to go to my cave to get away from everybody so I can like really see what the fuck is going on here. And then being able to go, I found it. And part of what I found is I need to burn up some old baggage, some things that were perhaps getting in my way, like that wall in the Seven of Wands. So, what do I need to burn down? And I'm hearing, what do I like? I need to believe in myself. I need to believe in myself. The Fool is not carrying a whole lot. The Fool is not carrying a lot because A, they're trying to get free from old baggage, but B, they are learning that they can trust that they will find what they need when they need it, right? So maybe you're a little bit like over preparing or like over worrying. That could be a potential. And I feel like this Wednesday is like, oh, you know what? I can trust myself. I can do this. The Six of Cups is also a card of friends, soulmates, siblings, excuse me, childhood friends. The uniting point being people who make you feel like you can just be yourself, that you can let down any, walls or any like you don't have to put on airs when you're with your Six of Cups people. You don't have to be cool. You don't have to be even fun or whatever. You can just be you and everything that you are, and you will be accepted, right? So this would be a great day to get with the kind of people who help you further let go of baggage, to further free yourself, and open up your mind. Spirit is using the phrase new horizons. New horizons. There's more that you haven't yet seen. You just walked out of the cave on Wednesday, right? So it's kind of like going within and then taking that out into the world. That is something that I'm hearing. So some of you are doing some deep reflection in the first part of the week, and then maybe midweek is when you start to go somewhere with it, which let's head right into Thursday, because the Fool is number 0, followed by the Magician, who is number 1 in the major arcana. So the Fool evolves into a magician. This is their first step on the major arcana road of wisdom, right? Finding out what they're made of and that they can create anything because they have all the elements within them. It really speaks to what Spirit was saying at the beginning of the reading about you're an ecosystem. And it's not just that if you leave out a part of yourself that the recipe doesn't work out great. It's also like everything about me is essential. Everything about me is uniquely designed and inseparable. So I'm going to make use of every single element, the cup, the sword, the pentacles, the wand. I have it all within me, and I can mix it up in any way that I want to. So I feel like this, breakthrough energy kind of going across the reading, breaking through old beliefs, breaking through even what you considered to be true for yourself. Like the Hermit is out there looking for the truth, and that means that, like, fundamentally we can know that that means that he doesn't believe like, oh, I already know the truth, I already have it. Like, we're an eternal student for what's true. What's true is ever evolving because we are ever evolving, right? So we discover new things all the time if we're open to that, if we're not getting stagnant, right? This is the opposite of stagnant. This is like eureka is one of the things that Spirit is saying. Eureka, I have found it. Like, now I know what to do. I just need to mix the things up that I already have. And that's something that these two cards have in common if we put them in a Venn diagram. The Two of Pentacles is all about, if you just play with the two pentacles, the two coins that you have, they can become infinite, right? Because it's not about how many resources you have. It's about how resourceful you are, how much you trust in yourself to be able to respond to the moment, how much you trust that if you put all of your 4 elements together, you can make anything happen. Some of you might make a dramatic decision around like changing the career path that you're on or the way that you make money. For some of you, it may not be, so dramatic that it's like an ending. It could be, but I really want to incorporate this side hustle or whatever, and I really want to get serious about incorporating this side hustle because even if it starts out as just 2 pentacles, I believe that I can make this into something that sustains me. I believe that with my skill and my deftness and my hearing, all four elements that are inside of me and what they all need from me, that I can multiply my skills, my resources, my efforts infinitely. That's a very appropriate set of cards for Thor's day, Jupiter, right? Expansion, growth, good luck, good fortune. And the good fortune, particularly, that isn't just like, oh, how nice that dropped out of the sky. It's the good fortune that is associated with being open and searching for good fortune. Do you know what I'm saying? Being adventurous, being willing, being game is something that Spirit is saying. So, Friday. Page of Cups, love to see it. Some good news, something refreshing. Spirit is actually using the phrase a breath of fresh air. So I feel like this person or the way that they speak is a really lovely breath of fresh air. I feel relief. I feel like, oh, I'm so glad that you called, or I'm so glad that you emailed or reached out or whatever. That's what I'm feeling. So I feel like there's communication coming through that is really encouraging. I even, for some of you, want to connect it to that Six of Cups. Might be even associated with the same person, childhood friend or sibling or soulmate, whatever. Somebody that makes you feel good, period. Like, just makes you, puts a smile on your face, relaxes your shoulders. Is something Spirit is saying, like, being with this person, I can truly flop. I could truly flop and feel loved, adored, appreciated, right? So I think that you're going to get happy news or just like happy communication on Friday. And this person might also help you be able to sort out what matters to you and what doesn't require any more of your time and your investment. Seven of Pentacles. Taking a step back after doing lots of hard work. Look at all the pentacles, right, that he's grown. And a gold one just sitting right here at his feet. Time to take a moment and just ponder. How was the harvest? How did this work out for me? What worked? What didn't? What adjustments might I want to make? Do I want to continue harvesting this particular type of pentacle, right? Or do I want to make a different decision? Spirit is saying we learn by doing. We learn by doing. So this person, this Page of Cups, or the message might just be more encouragement that, don't stay in your head about it. Go ahead and, Two of Pentacles, mess around with it, play with ideas, make things up, and then you sit back and you look at how did that go? You know what I mean? Like, Spirit is showing me how, and I know nothing about sports, okay? That's how you know Spirit's for real. Because what Spirit is showing me is how football players and the coach like watch the game afterward and point all kinds of things out. This didn't work. See, this is where we had a weak spot, and that's how they were able to do this and that. So next time we're going to blank, 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 blank. That's what Spirit is showing me with the Seven of Pentacles. So doing some strategic assessments, kind of like a time, energy, and financial audit. Are the resources that I'm putting in contributing in the way that I want to? Am I getting the return on investment that I want to be getting out of this? These are good questions to be asking yourself and to be making any necessary adjustments as you go. You don't put 7 legs on a table. You either add another leg or you take one off, but you don't put 7 legs on. So this just speaks to the fact that like some adjustment needs to be made. And it looks like to me a very gentle adjustment, very gentle. I would say take your time. I would say be patient with the Seven of Pentacles, because there can be an element of like, oh my God, a little bit tired, maybe even like on the edge of exhaustion with the Seven of Pentacles. So I would encourage you to be calm. I would encourage you to potentially also like sleep on it, right? Like maybe you have a big burst of creativity on the day with like the Magician and the Two of Pentacles, and then you reassess the next day, right? Like, okay, I've come down from my inspired high. Now I can look at this from the outside and go like, what would I change for next time? That's something that I'm hearing. So maybe some of you are even doing something out in the open where, okay, now we have some data. How did that go? Let's reassess. Okay. Finally, Saturday, This is some big energy. We have two major arcana cards. I'm kind of inclined to think that this could be related to world events, because we are reading for the collective and because we've got two powerful destiny cards. We have the Hierophant and we have the Tower. This looks to me like leaders and systems crumbling. Things being shaken out from underneath us. The Hierophant is the hierarchy. You know, if there was a card to represent the patriarchy, you know, I would say the Emperor and the Hierophant are right there next to each other, right? The order of how things are. I feel like for some people, this is again related to world events where it's like, well, this is just getting crazier, right? Which we've all seen happening. For some, I'm hearing that it's more like your beliefs get shaken apart on Saturday. Maybe some people don't like you going in your own magician direction, and you may get some kind of negative feedback from, let's say, a pastor or a manager, or, you know what I mean? Somebody who is higher, big scare quotes on that, someone that is higher in the hierarchy than you, passing down a judgment that feels like disillusioning. I'm hearing a few things. I'm hearing for some people it can be something like finding out that a religious leader that you were invested in was up to some nefarious shit. And it's like, this shakes me to my core to believe that this teacher or mentor or spiritual, you know, advisor that I looked up to is up to some fuck shit. Like, or just said something that shattered my whole opinion of them, or something like that. I will say that nothing that can crumble is built to last. If an idea or a leader or a system is really unshakable, then a tower can be, you know, disruptive, kind of like an earthquake, where it's like, oh, that knocked a few things down, but it's not going to take down the entire idea or the entire system if the system is rooted or the idea is rooted, right? But the tower falls down because it has no roots, because it's built on unsteady ground, because perhaps it requires, like, the blind and deaf obedience of the people listening to it, right? And Pluto is in Aquarius, Uranus is in Gemini, Neptune and Saturn are both, you know, they're both in retrograde right now, but they are and will be in Aries, right? There's a lot of new energy. There's a lot of systems and hierarchies shaking apart, being shown for what they really are, which is not built to last, not built on something true, etc. So let's personalize that and say, what might you be coming to grips with, like, this system, putting my faith and my reliance on this system or this belief or this, like, order of operations isn't doing what I need it to do. Be willing to make a change. It's better to be nimble and flexible and willing to perhaps make any necessary adjustments than to cling to something no matter what the data is showing you and, like, literally force life to tower it out of your hands or away from you. You know what I'm saying? I'll pull one more. Because, you know, whenever we pull the tower, that's a lot. That's a lot. This this just jumped out of the deck. Ten of Swords. Done to death. Beaten the dead horse to dust. Thought it to death. Talked it to death. You know, defended, coerced, cajoled, convinced, persuaded, tried everything that you could in the realm of, like, words and communications and thoughts. And this just seems like something to release. That's the word that I'm really hearing, is like, it's not even like this has to get ripped out of your hands. You don't need to convince anybody of anything. You don't need to try to stack it back up or make it stay. You can just accept that. Okay. Just makes it sound like it's easy. I understand that it's easier said than done. But if you consider yourself a spiritual person, or an intuitive person, can you believe, can you take it on faith that this is being moved out of your way because it wasn't going to work for you and it wasn't built to last? Can you accept that actually this isn't trying to screw you over, this is trying to show you the truth about something? This is trying to expose something that needs to be seen. That's what Spirit is saying about that tower. So take it as, it doesn't make it fun. It doesn't make it easy. Nobody likes change but a wet baby. And nobody likes laboring under a delusion. Or if you do like it, that's a sign that you need a tower more than anybody, right? Oh, lie to me. I don't want to know. Like, oh no. Well, you're inviting a tower. Like when you act like that, right? Okay. Let's get into the elemental forecast. And we are going to start with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Want to see what the overarching theme is this week for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn people, Spirit. What do you want? Wow. Okay. What do you want them to know for their highest good? Spirit, let me tune into the realm of resources, money, efforts. What do Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn people need to know this week for their highest good in the realm of the mind, Spirit? What kind of climate? What kind of messages, words, thoughts are floating through the brains of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn? What do you want to share with them this week for their highest good? You've got a couple of stalker cards already, okay? What about the realm of the heart? Relationships, feelings, connections. Spirit, what do you want to share with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn people? Beautiful. Love to see that. And finally, Spirit, what about their fire? What's lighting them up? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. What do the earth signs need to know in the realm of fire? So I see that you are making a new decision. You had the Magician in the daily forecast, and here you have it as your main theme for the week, earth signs. You can remix that shit. You have all of the elements on the table. You can make anything happen that you want to, and you can pivot is one of the things that I'm hearing. You can pivot. You can remix. You can stay light on your feet, okay? Two of Wands was also in the weekly forecast. So Spirit is really doubling down for you, earth signs. Do you know what you're made of, what you're capable of? You are the magician. You can mix the ingredients up any way and make different things, different things, different things, different things. It's trusting in that ecosystem. It's trusting in your skills and talents. Two of Wands, what is calling you? What are you excited about? Where, and this is important. This is something that is truly exotic to you. It's not like, oh, that looks like a familiar dream. Or like, oh, I would love to go to that because that reminds me of this thing that I've already done. This is something totally new. This is something that you might feel like I'm just a baby at or just a beginner at. I'm holding your wand. I'm just starting. But it's really calling to me. And like, it's calling to me to the point that I'm willing to do some research. I'm willing to call up the literal or metaphorical GPS and see, how can I get there? Just out of curiosity, how could I get there? I'm not taking those steps yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. And I already have the wand in my hand, so I might as well start waving it, is something that Spirit is saying. Decisions. Decisions. To push forward. To push forward or not to push forward. Seven of Pentacles. Another card that popped up during the weekly forecast. Am I getting what I want out of the effort that I'm putting in? And if not, what adjustments do I need to make? Seven of Pentacles. It can be very simple. It can be very straightforward. Spirit is showing me somebody, a gardener, looking at a plant and going, okay, this is getting kind of long and spindly. I'm going to cut 2 of these branches down so that more power can go into the roots and the whole thing can flourish a little better. Like, do less better. Maybe you're putting a lot on your plate. Maybe you've got a lot on your mind. 10 of Swords. Mental exhaustion. Spirit is using the phrase giving up on something. Giving up on something is not always a negative thing. When you give up on something that you actually don't want to do, or that doesn't suit you, or that hasn't loved you back, is one of the ways that Spirit is saying, that's a good thing. There are times in life when absolutely the right thing is to dust your hands off and say, I did everything that I could. Blessings to you and goodbye. Right? This isn't working for me. I've thought about it every way that I can. I've communicated about it in 100 different ways, and somehow I still couldn't get the point across, and I'm just exhausted. And that's how you'll know what the 10 of Swords is for you, where it's like, I feel like I've tried everything, and I'm just depleted. I'm just, bombed out and depleted. If you understand, then you're my people. The good news is the sun is rising in the background of this 10 of Swords. So a new day is indeed coming. Maybe 10 swords were too many. Maybe you only need 1 sword for the recipe, at least this time around. Maybe putting more thought, more of your mind, spinning your wheels more isn't the solution. And that's what I feel. It's play with ideas. Move things around. Keep it simple. What am I enjoying? What's producing fruit? What's not? I'm allowed to trim. I'm allowed to trim away anything that isn't giving me life. And I'm not giving life is something that I'm hearing. So do that. You're allowed to weed. You're allowed to trim. You're allowed to prune. Beautifully, when it comes to relationships, connections, collaborations even, 3 of Cups looks fantastic. You've got folks who have a different set of skills and a different perspective than you right around you that can, maybe they're masters of some of the other elements is something that I'm hearing. And when we each bring our element to the table, we can make anything happen. There's a lot of life in that 3 of Cups. So the 10 of Swords is not that, whatever that is. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe your friends, your collaborators, your 3 of Cups people who have, again, different set of skills or perspective than you, maybe they can come and help you make a decision about this. Maybe their perspective can help contribute and have you go, oh, I didn't think about it like that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do instead. I feel like bring them in. They can add to your perspective. Okay? Now, remember, it's all about you, but they can add to your perspective. They can contribute. Okay? Okay. This is a week of adjustments for you and potentially a powerful creative breakthrough, as long as you are not clinging and what Spirit is saying is like trying to force a square peg through a round hole. Trying to force anything is not the move. It should like come to life is what Spirit is saying with that Magician. Okay. I hope that that is helpful, Earth signs. Now, let's talk to the fire signs. Let's talk to Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius people. Spirit, want to know what you see for the fire signs this week. What is the overarching energy or archetype that it serves them to bring their attention to, Spirit, for their highest good? And what about their money, jobs, opportunities, resources? Okay, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius people, Spirit. What about the realm of the mind? Thoughts, words, communications. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, what about emotions, connections, relationships for Aries, Leo, Sagittarius people, Spirit? What do the fiery folks need to know this week? Okay, about relationships, feelings. Love to see it. And finally, Spirit, what about their own element? What is lighting up, firing up the fire signs this week? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Beautiful, great emotional support this week to fall back on. Love to see that. I want to tell you that one of the benefits of being an adult is that you get to make your own rules. So I want to check in, fire signs, and ask you, whose rules are you following? Whose system are you following? And just make sure that it is working for you, that you feel aligned with it, as opposed to following it without really checking in with yourself. Like, is this me? Does this system fit me, or this organization, or this hierarchy? The center of your reading, the most highlighted theme for you this week is who's in charge? Who's in charge? Who makes the rules? Whose rules am I following? Who holds, the keys to the kingdom? This is also teacher and student relationships, mentor and mentee relationships. Who are you believing? And what Spirit is asking me very plainly is like, are you outsourcing your authority to someone else? Because if so, that's going to make you feel ultimately hemmed in, and maybe even like cause some kind of like static or it's kind of like, if I don't want to acknowledge that I don't like the rules, then I might do something. I'm going to use the word underhanded in order to avoid obeying those rules. Like, if I'm not willing to go, I don't like this, this isn't going to work for me, this system or this boss or this whatever. If I don't do that, then I might just find myself taking what's mine and going, which isn't necessarily the wrong decision. If you understand that I don't belong here, this fight is not for me, this organization or these rules do not fit me, you are well within your right to take your swords and leave behind anything that isn't yours anymore, to leave a battle behind, to leave an organization behind, if the rules are not life-giving. And that's how Spirit is putting it. I will connect that to your money card, the Four of Pentacles, holding on to what you have really tightly because of a fear that there may not be more out there. Spirit is saying, take the risk. Take the risk. You have support. Six of Cups, Four of Wands. People who love you, people who see you and support you for who you are. Something, if we put these two cards in a Venn diagram together, one of the words that would come through would be family. Six of Cups is often a card for siblings or childhood friends, right, who can feel like family. And Four of Wands is all about literal home, family, our roots, and a sense of homecoming, a sense of celebration, of being embraced by the people that feel like our people. So there's great love, great friendship, great familial support for you, and very warm, very affectionate, very generous and giving support for you. So when there's this level of support and magic available to you, you don't want to hold back or hold yourself in. Take what you have and go out into the world and share it, whether it's your skills or it's like if I'm holding on really tightly to my money. I'm not telling you to go out and give your money away or spend it on silly things. What I'll say is you might want to make a practice of doing something like, when you're paying a bill, really like sitting in the appreciation. Let's say you're paying your electric bill. So, okay, I'm about to click the button or I'm about to drop the check in the mail, whatever your deal is, right? And so for a second, right before I do that, I'm just going to stand here for a second and appreciate, like, wow, fucking electricity, man. Like, I go through every day, maybe I'm not thinking about it, I'm taking it for granted that the lights come on and the temperature is the temperature that I want, and et cetera, et cetera. So take that moment to really breathe in the appreciation for what electricity does for you, the appreciation of having the ability to pay this bill rather than feeling like I have to pay this bill and this is this much money. It's like, thank goodness that I have access to this amazing service and that I have the ability to pay for it, right? And then make that payment and make that part of your energetic process whenever you are sharing money or sharing your skills, is like developing this trust that it will come back to you, right? And that there is always, the same way that there's always a price, there's always like a prize, right? So maybe you're thinking a lot about the price and not enough about the prize. And so I would encourage you to open up, like Spirit is actually really highlighting like the heart chakra, which makes sense because look at where this person is holding the coin in front of them. Like, I'm protecting that. Open up. You might even be thinking that the world is stingier than it is something that I'm hearing. So you may need to open up to the idea that actually people are nicer and more welcoming and more available than you may be predicting they are. Okay? Okay. I'm always curious. Please, please, if it ever enters your mind, like to leave a comment to be like, oh, this is how this is affecting my life, or like I resonated with this part because of this. It really is always interesting to me because reading is a very unconscious process. I mean, I'm channeling, right? Like, of course, I'm here, I'm present. It's my words, it's my lexicon, it's my like frame of reference that Spirit is able to access via channeling. But the act of channeling means that I'm just kind of talking. And then only later do I even maybe begin to get a hint of what the fuck I was actually saying. So I'm always curious, like, oh, that's me. I'm about to leave my job because it's not paying me enough money, and I'm struggling with the fact that, like, if I leave it behind, will I be okay? I don't know, whatever. Okay. Let's move on to the air signs. Let's talk to Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius people. Spirit, wow. What is in the cards for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius this week? Want to know what the overarching theme you want to bring to their attention. Hey. Okay? And Spirit, what about when it comes to money? Money, jobs, opportunities, income. What do you want to share with the air signs for their highest good? Okay, very nice. What about their own element, Spirit? The mental climate, the kind of words, messages, thoughts. What is it like inside the minds and the words of the air signs this week? Okay? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius people, when it comes to the realm of feelings, relationships, emotions, okay? And finally, what is firing up the air signs? What is sparking inside of the air signs? Oh, okay. Some of y'all are exhausted. First things first. Some of y'all are absolutely exhausted. I do want to say your efforts are going somewhere. Absolutely. They are turning the wheel. Number 10, completion and the new beginning held together, right? Because, you know, Spirit's like a day's work is never done. 10 of Wands. Once she gets there and is able to drop these wands, then what? Then it's like, okay, now we're building something out of them, or we're creating a pyre, or whatever is going to happen to those wands. Something else continues after she arrives, right? So you are pushing very hard and working very hard. It looks productive. It looks productive. It looks financially viable. The Eight of Pentacles is a card of doing the work that we really love and care about. Something, and this is interesting, this is not for everybody, but something Spirit is showing me is like a dog rescue. That's just one of the ways, like somebody out there who's going to listen to this video, it's like, I rescue dogs, and this is like the work that makes me feel good, right? It's not that there's a lot of money in it. Maybe it's even via like donation. So it's not like I'm getting rich off of doing this work, but it's work that I love, and the money or the funds even to support it are coming in, is something I see with the Eight of Pentacles. So of course that's incredibly specific. For some of you, it's like the writing that I'm doing is finally going to make some money, or the effort that I'm putting into my hobby. I actually sewed myself my first ever scarf, and I think I'm going to be able to sell these, or whatever. It is working on the skills that we are actually excited to work on, and the fact that working on those skills can bring money into our life. So put time this week into your crafts or your hobbies, or for some of you, this is like your business, right? You could be a person who reads tarot, and it's like I've been putting in the work, and I'm growing myself a little vine. I'm growing myself a little something. I feel like beginnings and endings. I feel like rite of passage is one of the things that I'm hearing. Kind of like, wow, we passed a milestone, and the journey is far from over, because it's just, if there's an end, it's only an introduction to a new beginning. If we reach, the top of the wheel, we will go back to the bottom and up again to the top. Things are, you're moving. That's what I hear, is like looking at all of these cards. I feel that you are moving, you are thinking, you are doing the work, you are making things happen. I feel like, just to continue in the theme of moving, the Wheel of Fortune, pushing forward, Ten of Wands, moving forward, Eight of Pentacles, growing and putting in the work. Six of Swords is learning from your past and using what you have learned to go forward in a clearer, better, smarter, more strategic way, right? Moving forward with total clarity. Brighter, cleaner, better days. Maybe doing a post-mortem after getting this big project over the finish line and going, well, that was really fucking hard, but what I learned was this. And so the next time I'm going to do it like this, or from this, I'm going to, it has inspired me to take a different direction or to a different approach, is one of the things that I'm hearing. So your hard work looks worthwhile, even though, Lord, again, I do feel that some of you are really, really putting in the work. And you're an ecosystem. Everything seems to be running, but when we come to the realm of your feelings, when we come to the realm of your emotions, that's the place where we can see a little bit of stagnancy, right? Four of Cups. There might be some dissatisfaction. There might be some boredom. There might be some disappointment flat out, right? Where it's like, one of the things that Spirit is saying is like, I applied for a job and I didn't get it. And that can feel like, what the fuck? Like, this, I'm supposed to have this. This is supposed to be here for me. Spirit has something different in mind for you, okay? So if you feel, and this is the phrase that they're using, and I do not use this phrase, so they're like, so if you get curbed, just know that it's like there was a better street for you, okay? So like, curbed because you're supposed to keep going. Curbed because there's something better coming down a different road. And if you had kept coming down this road, you would have gone the wrong way, okay? I also want to say with the Four of Cups, don't hold your feelings inside. Don't sit and wait for things to change. You need to make it known, okay? You need to make it known, or you need to make a move, is what Spirit is saying. Like with that Six of Swords. Like, your mileage will vary, okay, air sign? This thing happened and it disappointed me. Does that let me know I need to open up my heart and have like a conversation with somebody, right? And share my feelings? Or did this thing happening let me know, Six of Swords, time to go. Time to grab my stuff and just go ahead and move on with my life and leave behind this complication and this conflict. You will know. But movement is highly available. So I would also say, air signs, you probably heard me say it earlier when the Four of Cups popped up in your daily forecast. If something disappoints you or doesn't happen, right? Please, just as an experiment for 1 week, be like, okay, what if I had the faith? Just imagine if I believed that everything was working in the name of my enlightenment, understanding, ultimate joy and fulfillment, what would this say to me? That this person turned me down or this job moved out of my way. If I took it on faith that everything was happening for me, not to me, what would I do? Right? I wouldn't, for example, sit and like stew in the feelings of this didn't happen for me. I would go, oh, how interesting. So that's not it, right? Like if I really believed it, right? If I really believed that the universe, the elements, right? Air, water, fire, earth, are all conspiring to help me grow, to help me move forward. Sometimes the place we are would not help us move forward, right? And so we have to get moved out of that place. Just for a week, experiment with acting and responding as if it was happening for you, not to you. You might get a really interesting outcome. Spirit is saying a burst of energy, a burst of money. That's like, look at that. Look what happened when you took a little risk and did something a little different and responded in a different way than you normally do. Something that I'm hearing. Okay. Good deal. My air stellium is curious. All right. Let's move on now finally to the water signs. My kind, patient, wonderful water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces people. Spirit, what do you want to highlight for the water elementals this week? Wow. I say elementals and we literally pull up another card where all of the elements, different card, still having the elements represented in the four corners. Very cool, very interesting, and very much echoing what Spirit said at the very beginning of this reading. You are an elemental being. You are made up of vastly different elements, just like the earth, because we are the children of the earth, right? And we do not expect earth to be one giant swamp or one giant beach or one giant desert or whatever. We contain multitudes, just like our Mother Earth. And they all deserve to be honored. Okay. Spirit, let's look at money, work, jobs, projects, opportunities for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Beautiful. Okay. And what about their mind, their thoughts, their words? What's going on in the heads of the water signs? Whoa, jeez. What's going on in the heads of the water signs this week? What do you want to highlight? Okay. Very cool card so far. Okay. What about their own element, Spirit? Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, the realm of feelings. Goodness. Okay. And finally, Spirit, what about their fire? What is the light or the fire, the heat, the passion? What is lighting up or firing up Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces people, Spirit? What do you want to highlight for them for their highest good? Wow. I feel like you get a, pun intended, a higher perspective this week. The world is a card of graduation, completion. That's completion and achievement. Completion of reaching such a high level that you can have a much better view of where you've been and where you want to go next. Because as already discussed, and as is illustrated in the ring on the world card, there are really no such things as beginnings or endings. It's all one big circle, right? So this is an ending that is already becoming in that moment a new beginning. Because of what I've learned, I'm different. Even just that. Maybe new events haven't even begun to occur yet, but I am different on the inside because of the graduation that I've just had. Spirit is actually making the comparison of saying, like, it's kind of like going to college. You know, like for those who know, it's like my mind got way expanded all kinds of new ideas and new disciplines and new practices and etc. And I am a completely new and different person than I was before I finished that process and graduated from that. So some people, it's like you graduate from a relationship or a job or an attempt at something or a performance. That's something Spirit is saying for some of you is like, okay, the performance run is finished. And now what? They're kind of giving me a similar message as they were giving to one of the other signs. I can't even remember which element because channeling, as previously discussed. But the idea of like the coach and the football players watching the performance, watching the game and going like, okay, this is what we would do differently. They're showing me that, but with like a performance. Ah, you were like, I really loved the way that you were communicating in this part or whatever. Seeing where you've been, appreciating it, learning from it on purpose, and really integrating. In the realm of the mind, Four of Swords, you need a rest. I feel like you've been hard at work too. Beautiful. Echoing any of you have maybe air placements. Eight of Pentacles, again, this card of putting in the kind of work that you enjoy. The, you know, mastering your craft, right, is the phrase that actually Spirit is saying. So sitting and working at your skill, showing up diligently and consistently, and you are seeing growth, and you are seeing both the growth of your skills and the growth of your money. So again, it's like, oh, I'm on the verge of this new level. The Eight of Pentacles is right before the Nine of Pentacles of self-employment, self-sufficiency, and then the Ten of Pentacles of I can provide far beyond even myself. So you continue to put the work in because the work is working, and please build in breaks. Please take any time that you need to rest and recover physically and mentally from the paces that you've put yourself through. And on a deeper level, to integrate and really be able to sort out and understand the experiences that you've just been through and everything that they're trying to teach you. What has this been showing me? Something like, you know, for me, a really good Four of Swords would look like a really rich, spacious journaling session. Like, damn, I've just been through a lot. I've learned a lot. I just did a lot. I need somewhere to get these thoughts together, to make sense of this and to like be able to let it rest rather than it's all floating around up here. Kind of like, let's get nerdy for a second. Kind of like having my random access memory, my RAM, right? It's like, oh, all of these thoughts, all of this stuff that I haven't really taken in or got a grip on yet. So it's just floating there. It's just tabs open in my brain waiting for me to address them, as opposed to taking it in, having, again, let's say the journaling session or the therapy session or the whatever it is for you that helps you feel like you've cleared out your mind and kind of decluttered it and you have space and you can see really nicely. You need that kind of integration. Where have I been? What have I learned from it? What will I do differently next time? Build in breaks, build in recovery, integrate what you know, because then you can move forward with it and you don't have to carry it in your mind. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of the things that I'm hearing. It can go from, man, I notice that people always take advantage of me, or I do a lot of invisible labor, and I just had another experience of people not understanding how hard I'm working or whatever it is, right? So integrating that and being like, okay, so this happened, and what it's showing me is this, and what I feel about it is this, and that lets me know that what I need to do for myself in the future is this. I need to be more clear about my boundaries, or I need to communicate that what I need is blank, 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 or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Integrating means to get the thing that you need to get out of it, and for things to be able to change, for renewal to be able to occur. Endings, beginnings, options, new options. So, all of the work that you've done, inside and external, right, is bringing you to a new place and is changing the landscape of your life. I feel like somebody reaches out. That's what I'm feeling when I see this Ace of Cups. I feel like somebody reaches out to you. There may be some kind words forgiveness, or like, I want to bless your new relationship or whatever. Like, these are the kinds of things that I'm hearing. And that's so weird, but like I'm hearing like literally like an ex reaching out to be like, um, oh, I just looked you up the other day and I saw that you're married and you've got kids, and I just wanted to say congratulations to you. Like, you're a wonderful person and you deserve this, or something like that. That's just one of the ways that I'm hearing it. And it's like, oh, how beautiful. How like whoosh is what Spirit is making me feel in my heart. Like, maybe if there was any sediment or any kind of little dam in a part of my heart, this person saying this to me, or making this clear to me, like, freed up again. There's this feeling of like, oh, I have more clarity inside. I've like, and Spirit is saying that can be related to this, is if I calm the wind, which the swords are the air element, right? So our thoughts, the climate of our mind. If I calm the wind, then inevitably the water, the ocean, calms down as well, and things become clearer, softer, smoother. New things can begin with this kind of energy. So closure is one of the words that Spirit is saying now. And that's not a word that I'm obsessed with. And I actually really don't go around telling people that they need closure. They got to get closure, because sometimes closure is just, it's over, right? The thing ended, and now it's our job to give ourselves the closure, right? But in this case, some of you may give yourselves the closure, but others may actually indeed receive some kind of communication that is like emotionally freeing. So I really love to see that. And it opens up new options. And something interesting that Spirit is saying is like, this, something about this week and what you learn and what changes as a result of what you learn this week opens you up to like an option that you had never even considered. Like, I didn't even know that I wanted that, or that I was interested in that, or that that was possible for me. And that's something Spirit is saying is like, well, surprise. Surprise. You've come very far. You've worked very hard. You've learned a lot and earned a bit of a break, is what Spirit is saying. A little bit of a break in the dam. How about that? Let this water, let this love come in and alter the landscape of your life. You have certainly done the work to be able to earn it. Thank you for being here. I am sending you so much love. I appreciate you being here through a different format. Thank you for understanding me trying to make all the things happen with limited resources and time. Much, much love. Hey, if you ever want to support me, if you ever want to make it easier on me, I do have a Patreon. I almost never mention it. I have a Patreon. We're doing a live call-in show this month, so you can get a personal reading. Would love to read you. Hop on over there. We do cool things. Daily readings. Yes? No? Okay. Love y'all. Take care. I will see you next week. Bye.